This episode contains distressing themes and is intended for mature audiences only. Listener discretion is advised. On this episode of They Walk Among America, the mutilated bodies of two young women are found close to one another in a river. It quickly becomes obvious to investigators they are dealing with a sadistic serial killer who strangles his victims. Can the authorities find the person responsible before they hurt someone else? Welcome to episode 26 of They Walk Among America, a joint production between the Law&Crime podcast network and They Walk Among Us, the award-winning true crime podcast. Oregon, May 10th, 1969. George Montgomery and his son were fishing on Bundy Bridge, positioned close to the Long Tom River. The almost 60-mile tributary of the Willamette River was a good spot for catching bass and carp. But around 2:30 p.m. the Montgomerys came across something floating in the water. Approximately 12 miles south of Corvallis and 5 miles north of Salem, the bloated body of a woman in a pink knitted dress was found tied to a car transmission. Her remains should have been easily weighed down due to the female's petite frame. After police from the Benton County Sheriff's Office arrived and were called to the edge of the river where the body had risen to the surface, they saw that a rope and a cloth had been wrapped around the woman's neck. Copper wire and cords had been used to tie the body to the transmission from a Ford vehicle. An underwriter's knot was used, which is often employed on electrical cords for items such as lamps, to remove the strain where it is connected. The body was recovered from the river and taken to Portland where an autopsy was performed. Dr. William Brady, the state medical examiner, could not conclusively say when the woman had been killed, but he believed given the state of her body she had been in the water for approximately 2 weeks. The amount of time the remains had been submerged made it impossible to tell if the young woman had been raped or assaulted. It appeared as though the cause of death was manual or ligature strangulation. The hyoid bone had been broken, which corroborated the assumption that she had been strangled, but there were other injuries found. Defensive wounds like bruises and cuts showed that the woman had likely tried to fight off her killer, but there were also burn marks discovered along the sides of her ribs that appeared to have been inflicted after death. There were 2 small puncture holes found on either side of her ribs that looked to have been caused by a needle of some sort, but the medical examiner could not explain the bizarre burns. While the physical evidence such as the wires and cloth was sent to the crime lab for analysis, the woman's remains were compared to dental records of females who had been reported missing in the area. The police already suspected who the victim was based on her clothing, but after viewing dental records, she was positively identified. Her name was Linda Dawn Saley. Linda worked as a secretary and was a part-time student at Portland State University. The 22-year-old had been reported missing just over 2 weeks earlier on April 23rd. She failed to return home that evening to Beaverton, where Linda lived with her parents. She had been shopping at Lloyd Center in Portland trying to find a birthday present for her boyfriend. She purchased blue trousers, a shirt and a watch band. A red Volkswagen Beetle was found abandoned at the Lloyd Center near the pool where her lifeguard boyfriend worked. She planned on meeting him to celebrate his birthday after her shopping trip, but she never showed up. When Linda did not arrive for work, her colleagues and family reported her missing. No further clues regarding her disappearance were uncovered until her body was seen floating at the river's edge. District Attorney Frank Knight told reporters that the authorities believed that Linda Saley's body had been thrown from the Bundy Bridge, close to the area where she was found. Police divers continued to search the river for more evidence relating to Linda's death. On the evening of Monday, May 12th, they made another horrifying discovery. Just 50 feet from where Linda's body was found, the remains of another woman had come to the surface near the bridge on the Irish Bend.